In this video, we're going to look at neutralization reaction and how we write up a word equation for neutralization reaction. Now, before we do that, I give you a bunch of cards and see whether you can figure out which one is an acid. Acid, which one is an acid? Now, how do you figure that out? It's easy. Look at this word, sulfuric acid. So it says clearly it's an acid. So that's an acid. What else? Let's see. That one, nitric acid. Again, it tells you it's an acid. Nitric acid. Any more? And let's see. Here, this one here. Hydrochloric acid. Again, that is an acid. So we know those three are typical acid we use in the laboratory. Sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and hydrochloric acid. Those are acids. Now, acids can react with alkaline to produce a salt and water. Alkaline. Which one is alkaline? Take a look. Alkaline. Now, for you to recognize alkaline, again, it's easy. Look at these words, hydroxide. Now, if you see this hydroxide, that is an alkaline. Now, that's a metal, barium. That's barium hydroxide. It is an alkaline. Now, any more? See this one here? Potassium. Potassium hydroxide. Again, hydroxide. That is alkaline. That's a metal, potassium. Potassium hydroxide, barium hydroxide, they are alkaline. Any more? Any more? I can see this one here. This one, sodium hydroxide. That is hydroxide. Again, that is a alkaline. Okay? So the reason it's alkaline, it got hydroxide. See, if you look at the symbolic molecules, you see here, it's written as sodium hydroxide. See, that is alkaline, hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. See, potassium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide. So you see this symbol? So you see that? OH, 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 that's alkaline. In English, hydroxide, hydroxide, and hydroxide. The only difference is the metal, they change metal. Now acid, you can see acid again, as I told you earlier, hydrochloric acid is an acid. Why it is an acid? Because it produces hydrogen ions. You see, it's got H. Hydrochloric acid, you got H here. Now, nitric acid, again, you also can have hydrogen ions from here. Hydrogen ions from here. So that's nitric acid. Nitric acid. Here, that's sulfuric. This is sulfur. That is oxygen. They make sulfate. That's hydrogen, sulfuric acid. You see, hydrogen, and hydrogen. Okay, so we can see that is the acid. They are going to produce a salt and water. Now, let's look at how do we figure out a chemical equation for this neutralization reaction. If I give you a salt called potassium chloride, now what acid do you need to choose and what alkaline do you need to choose to make this salt? Now, we need something potassium. So potassium, take a look. Now this one here, this one. So I'm going to choose this one, potassium hydroxide, because it got potassium. Potassium hydroxide is an alkaline. Then that will react with acid. Now acid is here, the salt is chloride. So which one do I choose? Do I have a chloride words in there? No. Do I have a chloride words in there? See, I got there. So I'm going to choose this hydrochloric acid, not nitric. There is no chloride. So it's this word. Okay, so the hydrochloric acid react with potassium hydroxide. Can you see? It's going to produce potassium chloride, that's salt, and water is released. Water is released. Where does water come from? If you look at the symbolic equation, that might be easier for you to understand. You see, that is HCl, that's hydrochloric acid. Potassium hydroxide is written as potassium hydroxide. And when they two react, they produce a salt, potassium chloride. How does that come out? Potassium chloride. See, it's this K and Cl, those two joined together. K and Cl joined together. So what left? What left is H and this OH. So that gives you H2O. So that is a neutralization reaction. So the word equation will be hydrochloric acid plus potassium hydroxide produce potassium chloride and water. So this is a neutralization reaction. Now let's try again. This time I want you to produce a salt called sodium nitrate. What acid do you need and what alkaline do you need? Now looking at acid, you have got nitric acid, sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid. Now to produce sodium nitrate, I don't think sulfuric acid is the right one, because there is, looking at the words, you see there is no nitrate. Right, this one's gone. That looks to me right, okay. You see nitric acid and you produce something nitrate. So I'm going to choose this acid, not hydrochloric, because there is no nitric. So I'm choosing nitric acid. Okay, but I also need something alkaline called sodium. You've got to have sodium. Now, this is an alkaline, I know, because it's hydroxide, but it's barium hydroxide. I want sodium nitrate, so this can't be right. This one, potassium hydroxide, it is alkaline hydroxide, but it's potassium. What I wanted is sodium nitrate, so that's not right. What about this one? That looks all right. That's sodium hydroxide. Okay, sodium hydroxide react with nitric acid, can you see? And then they should produce sodium nitrate. Can you see? Sodium from where? From there. Nitrate from there. Sodium nitrate. And don't forget, you have water produced. Now water is produced. Where the water come from? Let's turn this pipe over. Have a look. See, have a look. So, again, that's sodium hydroxide. Hydroxide alkaline. Sodium hydroxide. Nitric acid, NO3, nitric acid, you got H, nitric acid. when they react, they produce sodium nitrate, NaNO3, NaNO3, sodium nitrate, and water comes from here. This one OH and this one H. They join together to make H2O. So that is a typical neutralization reaction. Let's try one more time. Your task is to produce potassium chloride. Now, what acid do you need? Acid, potassium chloride. Now, the acid, I would choose hydrochloric acid. Why? Because chloride, chloric, see those two. So that's hydrochloric acid. That's the acid I'm choosing. Alkaline, I need to find something, the word with that one. So that looks like potassium hydroxide. As I told you, hydroxide is an alkaline. Potassium is a metal. So I'm choosing potassium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. See those two? Acid and alkaline. Now, those two is going to produce a salt called potassium chloride. Potassium metal from here, potassium chloride from there, from that word there, chloride. And that's the potassium chloride. And then this hydrogen and hydroxide will be joining together to produce water. Now, if I turn the card over, take a look. That might be a bit easier for you to understand. That's symbolic equation. Sorry, that's water already, sorry. Okay, see. Hydrochloric acid, potassium hydroxide. You will be producing potassium chloride, see K and Cl joined together. And what left is H and OH, so that's water, H2O. So that is called neutralization reaction.